it to Wednesday, Hump Day, right here on the hottest show on the streets, talking your Alabama football news in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Happy to have you guys all in here checking us out on this evening. As always, we bring you the show, Magic City of Birmingham, streaming this to you via YouTube. Speaking of the channel, you know what time it is. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button right now. Get every friend, every family member, diehard Bama fan, casual Bama fan, consumer of Tide football to subscribe, because if you're feeling the content, they will also. Don't forget to tap the like button as well. Hit that thumbs up. Run those like numbers up right there. Trying to get this 50 likes out the gate, starting off the show. Appreciate the support there from you guys also. All donations welcome and appreciated. That daily Super Chat Go, $100 there. Daily Super Chat Go. Thanks to all of you. Turn on all of those post notifications as well. Hit that little bell so that way you miss nothing when it comes down to your Crimson Tide football information. Got a lot to talk about this evening. Gonna have my man Alex Barth, who covers the New England Patriots for 98.5 The Sports. How about a Boston to come on to discuss, who could the Patriots draft from the Crimson Tide coming up here in April, especially with the NFL Scouting Combine in the next coming weeks, going from the 28th of this month through March the 6th. So a lot of fun stuff to look at there when you talk Bama in the NFL. But we want to hear from you tonight, the passionate fans of Tide football. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358, the number to call in to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. One more time, 205-448-1358. But we get into now, John, first topic of the docket here, the conversation, that being that there's so much conversation about who will be the starting quarterback for Alabama when you look at Jalen Milroe entering his third year in the program, came in the 2021 class, 4-star from Katy, Texas, and then you've got Ty Simpson, who's entering year 2 for the Crimson Tide, came in the 2022 class, former 5-star from Tennessee. And while a lot of people are stacking their poker chips more so to the side of Ty Simpson, on yesterday, during the episode of the Bama Standard, two former NFL players were on the show, a father and son tandem. You had Corey Miller, who played 9 seasons in the league, most of that with the New York Giants. And then you had his son Christian Miller, who played at the University of Alabama as an outside linebacker, 2-time national champion. But Corey Miller mentioned on the show that, hey, he is feeling Jalen Milroe. Corey Miller is saying, hey, this guy right here, Milroe, this dude, real deal. This dude can put up some numbers. This guy is going to put up some crazy statistics. This guy is that dude. This guy can be the second coming of Jalen Hurts out there on the field. This is coming from former NFL player, edge rusher Corey Miller, who played against the likes of your Troy Aikmans, your Emmitt Smiths, your Michael Irvins with the Dallas Cowboys were concerned. So we're going to get into this when you talk about Jalen Milroe. Can he hold off Ty Simpson and be the starting quarterback here, your Alabama Crimson Tide? Like I mentioned, if we were playing, if people were hedging bets right now, if people had their poker chips on the table right now, if people were playing the slot machines right now in Vegas or any casino for that matter, people would have all bets toward Ty Simpson. Why? Due to the fact that, 6'2", he's now over that 200-pound threshold. He's added some weight and some muscle mass to his frame. You look at the arm talent ability that he had coming out of high school, Westview High School in Tennessee. Simpson accounted for 41 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions in his final year. And of course, you go back to the spring game of last year, showing that ability to layer the ball in, make different passes, different throws across the field to put with the mobility that he brings to the table. So if you look at it just from a passing perspective, from a passing viewpoint, a lot of people hedging those bets to the side of Ty Simpson. But when you look at Jalen Milroe, first and foremost, did play quite a bit this past season, did start against Texas A&M, and for the most part, had a pretty decent performance in the start against the Aggies. Did throw for 3 touchdowns in that game. Yes, he did have some turnovers, but he did throw for 3 touchdown passes in that game. And the offense with Bill O'Brien last season did not tailor to the strengths of Jalen Milroe, did not tailor to the skill set that this young man possesses. Now that you have Tommy Rees in here, Tommy Rees, who is predicated on power run game, setting that up with different window dressing and formation to take the eyes of the defense and sort of make opposing defenses undisciplined with their eyes because of all the window dressing and the motions, things of that nature. And you have a guy and a coordinator that's going to run the football, build off of that with play action pass, take shots downfield, scheme out an offense that will have receivers getting open with various routes. You wonder, Tommy Rees, what he's able to do as a young offensive mind, can he get the best out of Jalen Milroe? Can he do this? When you look at Tommy Rees, he got the best out of every quarterback he had at Notre Dame, whether it was Brandon Wimbush, an athletic quarterback, whether it was Ian Book, in whom he recruited, developed, took from the bottom, put him into the NFL, whether it was Jack Cohn, a transfer from Wisconsin, or whether it was Drew Pine this past season. It didn't matter whoever Tommy Rees got his hands on, he was able to develop that quarterback. And Notre Dame didn't just have a wealth of talent for Rees to work with. Now that he's at Alabama, you're looking at a Jalen Milroe who you can work with. You got a loaded backfield of running backs you can work with. You got an offensive line with Eric Wolford that you can really work with. You've got receivers all across the field, tight ends. Remember, Tommy Rees is going to use a lot of that 2 tight end set, which is going to promote, run the football, be physical, be brute powerful, move guys around, but at the same time, take some shots downfield in the vertical pass and attack game. And Jalen Milroe could really thrive under this because the last quarterback that had this type of offense here, remember, Lane Kiffin had it in 2016 with Jalen Hurts as a first-year starter. And what did Jalen Hurts do as a first-year starter his freshman season? All he did was be the SEC Player of the Year, the SEC Offensive Player of the Year, and the SEC Freshman of the Year. Did set a whole bunch of records there. Got Alabama to an SEC championship. Bama won the SEC title, and then got Alabama to the national championship. And if not for Deshaun Watson on the opposite side of the football, when Jalen Hurts left the field, Alabama had a 31-28 lead. Unfortunately, you had 3 and outs prior to that, and the defense kind of wore down at the end. But the point being, when Jalen Hurts left the field, you had a 31-28 lead. You discuss Milroe here, where Tommy Rees is concerned. He's looking at having that same type of offense that Lane Kiffin had instilled, brought in, provided the upgrade for. If Milroe can take a slight leap and or jump in the passing game, the young man can be really, truly deadly. He can take that slight leap, that slight jump in the passing game where the accuracy and the timing is concerned because the legs are there, the athleticism's there, and if something were to break down, you think Nick Saban would have maybe bit more confidence in Milroe's legs in this offense if something were to break down where that part plays in. So it's going to be very interesting. You already got, like I said, Saban likes Milroe. He does. Likes the character that Milroe brings, likes the development that Milroe has taken in terms of being a complete quarterback. The main thing for Milroe has always been the mechanics as a passer, the mechanics as a distributor of the football. And Tommy Rees will help with that. he will strategize some plays, draw up some plays, scheme out some plays that will really, truly help Milroe grow in that area. And this is the reason why spring practice, A-Day games, so vital, so crucial, so pivotal for us to be able to watch, for us to see, for us to get out there and behold as consumers of Alabama football, because we want to know and see and watch, how will Tommy Rees be able to develop Milroe? How will Tommy Rees be able to have this young man in situations where he can stretch the field with his arm? He can distribute the ball to these wide receivers and do so in that confident manner, the way that he wants to do that. So Saban believes in Milroe. Saban likes Milroe. But the reason why Saban brings in Tommy Rees, a young guy, to relate to Milroe, to develop Milroe, and to grow him as a passer of the football. You've got a former player, a former NFL player in Corey Miller saying, hey, this guy, Milroe, this guy's a starter. I'm impressed by this young man. I like this young man. I feel like the offense that was ran last season, it was not catered to him when he was out there starting against Texas A&M. But from what I saw, I was impressed, and you get him a coordinator that can really, truly work with him. This young man can be really special. This coming from Corey Miller last night on the episode of the Bama Standard. So, to me, it's going to be interesting. A lot of people hedging those bets, hedging those picks too. Ty Simpson's got to be the guy. He can light it up. He's got the size. He's got the footwork. He's got the passing mechanics. He's got, what's needed here in today's college football. But Corey Miller is going, do not write Jalen Milroe out of this equation here. He's got experience on the field. He's got experience playing in games. He's got experience as a starting quarterback out there in that matchup against Texas A&M. This spring should be very, very interesting. But we take our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. We're just getting started. Upon our return, we go on the phone lines. We grab your thoughts, your calls, your conversations. Do you agree with the former NFL player in Corey Miller? Do you feel like Jalen Milroe can really put up some big-time numbers? Or are you still in the camp of it's Ty Simpson's time? We'll take some calls from you. We'll get to you after this.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, in my own words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, folks, we're rocking and rolling back in here on a Wednesday, hump day, hottest show in these streets, talking your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Appreciate all of you tapping the like button one time, running those likes up, getting those likes past the moon right there. The support from all of you, fantastic. Also, appreciate all the donations coming in here, as I think we've reached that daily super chat goal of $100. Yes, we have. And Ty Alexander dropped in that $9.99. Appreciate Ty Alexander. And Eddie Rhodes with the $100 donation. Eddie Rhodes comes up in here with the big money. That daily goal of $100 is met right there. Dance and Steve, and appreciating the support they're coming from all of you. But we go to the phone lines to grab your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in, 205-448-1358. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
It's Kyle from Foley.
Kyle's back! Oh, man! Kyle, what's up?
Oh, man. Mr. Smith, I haven't been the same since I took that trip down to Baton Rouge. We knew what was going to happen when we went to that game. Pete Golden does not deserve to be coaching the SEC. I can't say it timeless and timeless again. He is an awful football coach. The only thing that he had going for him was the talent level he has at Alabama. Now you're really going to see the real Pete Golden at Ole Miss. There's a reason all the players down there in Oxford are transferring out, because it is going to be a disaster. Now, we've been talking about the quarterback situation at Alabama. I'm fine with Milroe. He's got a little bit of trouble turning over the ball, not holding the ball strong in the pocket. We saw that in the Texas A&M game. But, I mean, every player gets a chance to develop. He's got all off season. If he has a great spring, I say put Milroe in there as a starter. If he can't get it going, put in Ty Simpson. I mean, there's so much talent in Alabama. There's no reason that we should not have a great quarterback. And I tell you what, Mr. Smith, let me break this news right here to you before I get off this phone. This is going to shock all your viewers. My sources tell me that the next defensive coordinator after Kevin Steele leaves will be none other than former Alabama Governor Robert Bentley.
That is interesting right there, Kyle. That is as interesting as it gets right there. Appreciate Kyle from Fall. Get up Kyle back, man. I haven't heard from Kyle in a long time, so we got the Wednesday going right here. We're going to take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Steve, what up with y'all, man? This is Jay from Florence.
What's going on, Jay?
That was not me that called Monday.
That was not you that called?
No, I'm sitting there watching the show like, he sound like Jay.
I mean, Jay, I don't know who that, Jay, you probably got a clone somewhere, man.
And Steve, I'm watching this show, he shot me, I said, that's Jay.
I mean, Jay, you must got a clone or a doppelganger somewhere, man.
But I'm finna keep it too real. Steve, we got what we asked for, didn't we? We got somebody young, creative. He running that jet sweep, Steve, and he running that dang ball, man. See, when I got the news on my phone, I immediately went to YouTube and went and watched me some old Notre Dame, last year game. The man ain't had no talent. No disrespect to Notre Dame. He just ain't, he ain't got what Bama got. He fed the heck out there tight end, which makes me very, very excited for our tight end room, Steve. Like we might see something crazy like 2,000 yards at the tight end room, because they just got so much versatility and talent. Robbie Hoots in the backfield, Elijah on one side, not Lee Black and Lockwood. Come on, man, that's 4 tight ends right there, Steve.
That's 4 tight ends right there. And then Jay, you've been the main one this whole time. Get the other coordinators out. Let's get some people in here. I mean, Coach Saban has to have been listening to every call you've made, Jay, because not only did Saban let go of Pete and Bill, he let go of both of them before their contracts were up, and he made the new hires.
That was perfect, Steve. But that Kevin Steele, I agree with everybody. I think he's gonna bring that tough love back. He's
going to bring the tough love, but what I've been hearing also is not only is Steele going to bring the tough love, but what I've been hearing, what's been told to me, Pruitt returns as an analyst. Pruitt coming back as an analyst. So you would have Pruitt. So you would have Pruitt return behind the scenes, and you would have, Kevin Steele restoring that tough love. I mean, I can rock with that.
Help me with this, Steve. Do the analysts get to work with the players, like, on the field a little bit? Like, can Pruitt work with the safeties?
I think now, according to the NCAA guidelines, I think he can. I think the only thing for Pruitt, as an analyst, you couldn't be on the field. But as far as practices, you can work with the safeties. You can cut up the game plan. You can scheme the game plan. You can draw the game plan up as an analyst. You can do that. That's within the guidelines. You can do that. It would just be.
Don't make me that happy, man. Man, Steve, this is everything.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. From the NCAA rule book, from the rule book, the analyst can sit in on the meetings. He can cut up the film. He can set it in motion. He can put it together. The coordinator would have to call it out, yes, but the analyst from behind the curtain, he can scheme it up.
My players to watch next year are going to be Robbie Oops and, let's say, Alexander from last year's recruiting class.
Okay, Robbie Oops. Okay.
Yeah, him or Quay Russaw. I feel like they're going to move them to inside linebacker. They some good blitzers, and we know we got somebody that ain't afraid to send them dogs. So, hey, man, Steve, I'm excited, man. This is everything I wanted. Steve, I mean, hey, I'm trusting the process right now. Man, that quarterback battle going to be interesting. I want people to get that hate out their heart for Milroe because, hey, man, the man was young, man. I can't run Bryce offense like that, and neither can you. So, roll tide, I love y'all.
Appreciate Jay from Florence calling in right there to the show. We rock with this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I talked Monday. I talked about the quarterback room, and I said we need to move Jalen Milroe to running back. But then I gave it some thought. You are truly correct. We need to keep Jalen Milroe as a quarterback because he came in as a quarterback.
Right, he did. He came as a quarterback. He did, and you want to continue to have him develop right there. Absolutely.
Yes, I like Jalen Milroe as a quarterback. I think he's going to be our first quarterback, then Pat Simpson, and then the two freshmen. And I do like it that way.
Absolutely. Appreciate that call right there coming in. I mean, spring ball is going to be fun to watch, people. This is, and I mentioned this to Eli also, but John, I feel like this spring, normally when you look at spring football, you think of it as a formality, as a show. And you look at fall camp, as the real thing. The open practice in August, that's the real thing. But I feel like this spring will be the first time where fans have a reason to, we got to get out here for spring football. We got to get out here for A-Day because of all the newness. What is Tommy Rees going to do? What is Kevin Steele going to do? Pruitt potentially, analyst, behind the scenes, what can he scheme up here? It's so much newness. Quarterback battle right there. You got all the running backs back up in here, wide receivers. Who could be breakout star of that group? Tight ends. How many of those guys can be used defensively with Kevin Steele? That tough love. Them dogs getting back out there on the field, attacking from every angle. You got Will Reichert back kicking field goals. I mean, this is one spring where, with all of the newness, it's going to be fun to watch who does what, who's ready for what. And after 2 years of not winning a championship, Saban trying to upend the momentum of Kirby Smart over there at Georgia. It's going to be a very, very, very fun spring. But cool call topic right here. We got the NFL Scouting Combine. The underwear Olympic season is upon us. NFL Scouting Combine, which happens at Lucas Oil Stadium, Indianapolis, will be from February 28th to March 6th. Alabama, despite not winning the college football playoff national championship, it will send the most players in college football to the Combine this year. 13 13 Bama players headed to the Combine. You look at Bryce Young in there, Will Anderson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Tyler Steen, Emil Ekiyor Jr., Henry To'o, Byron Young, Eli Ricks, DeMarco Helms, Jordan Battle, Cameron Latu. There's so many names heading to the NFL Scouting Combine to test their skills, test their ability, put on for NFL scouts, coaches, GMs, evaluators, different personnel. It's going to be fun to watch that right there. Bama's got two guys concretely that'll go in the first round. You talk Bryce Young, quarterback, Will Anderson, edge rusher. Brian Branch can possibly get in that first round as a defensive back, especially he puts on here in this Combine. You're even starting to hear rumblings from the Senior Bowl. Does Tyler Steen get into the first round? I don't see it. Second rounder. Emil Ekiyor to me, second, third rounder. But NFL Combine, gonna be fun to watch that as it's coming up here in the coming weeks. But we take our next break here, folks, from the show. Don't touch that down. When we get back, we sit down with my man Alex Barth, sports radio personality, beat writer for those New England Patriots. He's talking New England in terms of who could they get from Alabama in this upcoming draft. We'll speak with Barth after this.
Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
We're back rocking and rolling to the action from the break on a Wednesday, hump day, hottest show in these streets. Talking Bama football in my own words. Yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Got the man John Ivory in the production studio. 26 likes from 100. Continue to hit that like button. Tap the like button right there. Stop all what you're doing. Give us that support. Hitting that thumbs up, liking the show. 26 likes away there from that 100 mark. Appreciate the support. They're coming from you. But right now, we go over In My Own Words hotline. We pick up a superstar right here. Been on the show before. Really love his insight when you talk the New England Patriots, especially if they're thinking about drafting Bama guys to Foxborough. We got the sports radio personality, beat reporter, 98.5 The Sports Hub out of Boston, talking those New England Patriots. We got my man Alex Barth right here. Alex, A-Town, what's happening with you?
What's going on? You know they're thinking about drafting Patriots. I think last year was the first year in like 4 or 5 drafts that the Patriots didn't take a player from Alabama. They did get a UDFA with Brian Ray, but they're due. They're due for an Alabama pick.
Absolutely. They're absolutely due, Alex. And we're going to start this off right here with the NFL Scouting Combine coming up here in the next coming weeks. We got the announcement that, Alabama's sending 13 players up there to Indy for this Combine, among the big names, Bryce Young, Will Anderson, Brian Branch, Jordan Battle, among others. And, for New England, for Bill Belichick, how many players do you feel like, or do you sense he's got his eye on when you look at the Tide in this Combine?
I'm looking at 7 or 8 guys that I could realistically see ending up in New England. Now, not all of them at once, but really you go beyond the first 2, Will Anderson and Bryce Young, who they're not going to have a chance to draft. Nobody would surprise me after that. I think some are more realistic than others. The one guy I've kind of circled and I've been writing about a ton is Cameron Latu. They're going to need a tight end with Hunter Henry in the final year of his contract. You have the Bill O'Brien connection now where he's probably going to want to be reunited with some of his former players.
where Lazu's going to be drafted, the position of need, the Bill O'Brien connection. I just think he makes, and the way he plays too, like just the kind of player he is, very smart, disciplined player, well-rounded player. He's going to be really hard for the Patriots to pass on if he's there, early, maybe even middle of day 3.
Good point right there. And Cam Latu, a guy that, had to transition from outside linebacker to tight end, but did in his career being very productive there at that spot. We got Alex Barth here on the show covering the New England Patriots, 98.5 The Sports Hub, if you're just checking out In My Own Words here on a Wednesday. So, Alex, when you look at just now the marriage of Bill O'Brien and Mac Jones, we've been talking about this for a while, that New England was the primary team Bill O'Brien was linked to return to the NFL, and it's come to pass. He's back now with Bill Belichick, back with Mac Jones. Mac has mentioned that he wants to be coached hard. He loves being coached hard. And I think O'Brien will definitely do that. When you look at the marriage here overall, how do you see this marriage of O'Brien with Mac working out here?
Oh, it's excellent. I think a big critique last year, and rightfully so, was that the Patriots didn't put Mac Jones in a position to succeed. The things they were asking him to do, the resources they were giving him, did not allow him to maximize his best skills, which are his accuracy, his decision-making, his ability to read a defense. Those are all hallmarks of a typical Bill O'Brien offense, where you're going to come to the line with multiple calls, figure out the coverage, make your check, and at that point, it should pretty much be paint by numbers. So if Matt can't figure it out with Bill O'Brien, that's pretty concerning, but he should be able to, assuming some of the damage last year is reversible, because there was a quote, and I don't have it in front of me, but O'Brien gave a couple years ago when he was speaking at a coaching symposium about the 3 things he looks for in a quarterback. And they were, and I'm paraphrasing, trying to remember off the top of my head, it was like accuracy, decision-making, and football IQ. And that's Mac Jones, right? So I think he's a great fit for Mac specifically, and we'll see if they can put the other pieces in place on the roster to make it work, but he should be able to bring out the best in Mac Jones.
So I know, Alex, a lot of people are talking about what New England needs offensively, needing receivers. You brought up tight end with Hunter Henry last year of his contract. Maybe another offensive lineman could not hurt also. But flipping this over here to defense, which is the bread and butter of Bill Belichick, could there be an Alabama defensive player, maybe not named Will Anderson, but an Alabama defensive player that Belichick is going, if this guy drops to us, we got to get him?
Oh, most definitely. I think one of the safeties. They would love all of those guys. And they're going to go with different ranges in the draft, so it depends how much they want at the position. Whether it's Branch, whether it's Jordan Battle, whether it's DeMarco Hellams. Like Devin McCourty is probably going to retire. It sort of seems like he's trending that way. And Kyle Duggar's in the final year of his contract. So they like these big, versatile, physical safeties. All 3 of those guys check those boxes. Again, they're in different ranges of the draft. They're different caliber of players, but they're going to need a safety this year. Alabama's got 3 studs coming out. I don't think Bill Belichick's going to simply let that go by. The one other guy I really like is Henry To'oTo'o, the linebacker. I know he had a down year this year, but sometimes the Patriots look at that in the draft and they'll say, well, if he come out last year, he was a top 50 pick. So we've seen him play at a top 50 level. We can get a guy with that kind of production on tape maybe later on day 2, early on day 3, because he didn't perform as well this year. I think they'll like his leadership ability. I know he's a guy Nick Saban has spoken high of, gave him the defensive communicator responsibilities first year in Tuscaloosa. So that's another guy I think definitely fits as a prototypical Patriot.
It'll be interesting to see what Belichick does, what he watches at the Combine coming up soon here, and definitely the NFL Draft. But as always, we got the man, we got the legend right here, Alex Barth, covering those Patriots for 98.5 The Sports Hub out of Boston. Alex, you already know, we appreciate you coming on here, giving us the inside look up what the Patriots could look at in the draft in terms of Bama players, and could this marriage of Bill O'Brien and Mac Jones work? I think it can. It's going to be fun to watch. As always, man, we appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Alex Barth covering the Patriots there for 98.5 The Sports Hub. NFL Combine coming up February 28th. It'll be fun to watch all of these guys. The times they put in, the on-field workouts, the interviews, how they sell themselves in the job interview. And then most importantly, how many Bama guys can go in the first round of this year's draft? I know concretely you got Will Anderson, you got Bryce Young, and also Jahmyr Gibbs concretely could go in there also. But how many more Bama guys could seriously go in that first round? Gonna be fun to watch that. We're gonna take a break right here, folks. We'll touch that down. When we get back, return to the phone lines to grab your calls, to get your conversations right after this.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Marvin Constant, All-SEC linebacker and 1999 SEC champion. You are listening to In My Own Words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide.
Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, we're in here to the action from the break. Hottest show on the streets on a Wednesday hump day. Talking your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Got the man John Ivory in the production studio. Guys, shout out Brian Watson one time with that $4.99 in the super chat. Showing the love there. Dancing Stephen. Appreciating that. Getting down to business there on the desk with the khaki pants on there. But had a thought there coming from one of our viewers in the YouTube chat line about Henry To'o, my man Alex Barth in the recent segment. Last segment covering the Patriots there for 98.5 The Sports Hub, mentioning that if To'o is available in the draft, that the Patriots would get him. Bill Belichick would not mind taking a shot there on Henry T. And some people there kind of shocked by the fact that, Barth mentioned that. But, To'o, maybe not the fit of prototypical Alabama linebackers at that Mike linebacker spot. Probably fits more of a wheel backer perspective, but at the same time, was productive during his time with Alabama. He led the team in tackles in 2021 with 113, finished with 94 tackles this past season. You got to be able to communicate that defense across the board. So, Henry T does bring some value there. And maybe for the Patriots, if put in the right spot as a wheel linebacker, he could be something nice for Bill Belichick and for that Patriots defense. It'll just be interesting to see, what does Belichick do in terms of the draft and getting Alabama players, because you got Mac Jones, you got Damian Harris, but you can use some more offensive pieces, absolutely. Even defensively, as Barth mentioned, you got some guys from New England getting older, trending towards retirement. So it wouldn't be a bad thing for you to look at some guys in the secondary coming from Alabama, some guys in the linebacker room coming from Alabama, maybe even some guys in the defensive line to put with Christian Barmore. It wouldn't be a bad idea for New England to look at Byron Young. Wouldn't be a bad idea for New England to maybe look at a DJ Dale, maybe. Possibly, if you want to pull that route. It could be a decent move there. We'll see what Belichick does, but we go to a cool call topic here, John, and that being one Terrion Arnold, who's entering his third season as a defensive back for the Crimson Tide. And he's been working with Oliver Davis II this offseason, a defensive back specialist at the Sweet Feet program is the Sweet Feet Specialist program there that trains defensive backs and working with the footwork, the eye discipline, the control, the backpedaling, the technique, the breaking on balls, all the things that need to be a marquee defensive back. That's what Oliver Davis works on. He's had his hands on Terrion Arnold so far of his offseason since the 2022 campaign ended. And Terrion, who made the all-freshman team for the SEC, he also made the freshman All-America team for Football Writers Association. Arnold didn't have a bad year. 45 tackles, 8 pass breakups, 1 interception. There were times where he did get torched a bit there, but there were also times where he stepped up and he played big-time ball. So for Arnold, the question for him is, can he be an All-American type of player? Can he be a lockdown type of player opposite Kool-Aid McKinstry? McKinstry, for a lot of people that rag on him, Kool-Aid had a big year last year. He did have 15 pass breakups. He did shut down his end of the field. There were, toward the back half of the year, people weren't testing Kool-Aid. People weren't trying Kool-Aid. So he showed middle toward the back half of the year that he can be a showstopper as a boundary corner. Now, the other guy that will play opposite of him, that's the question. Can Terrion Arnold be that guy? You look at Earl Little II. His dad played, Earl Little Sr. played in the NFL. The high school coach that Little had was Patrick Surtain Sr. down there at American Heritage High School. It was Earl Little, that boundary corner that you need. You got him in here. You've recruited guys like Tony Mitchell. You've recruited Jaleel Hurley. You've recruited Brayson Hubbard. You got Devontae Smith, who you signed in the 2021 class, if I'm not mistaken. There are dudes that you got at corner, several guys. So when you look at this cornerback position opposite Kool-Aid McKinstry, can Terrion have the All-American type of season? He'll be put in a situation where he'll have a crack at it, he'll have a shot at it. If he can and he takes it, he'll take it. If not, Saban's got other guys to pick from to put in that spot. So that defensive back position will be something fun. Another thing to look out for in the safety room, with DeMarco Hellams and Jordan Battle both gone, I know the immediate, names people are looking at: Malachi Moore safety, Caleb Down safety, Christian Story safety, Devontae Smith safety, and absolutely I would agree with those. But also keep your eyes on Jake Pope as well. He will get a shot in here. He will get an opportunity. He'll get a shot in here. Am I saying Jake Pope will win the job? No. Really good player, though, coming out of Buford High School in Georgia. But Jake Pope will get a crack in there. He'll get a shot in there to show what he can do. So that defensive back room, keep your eyes on that position right there. It could be something to watch there. But we take our final break here on the show, but don't touch that dial, people. When we return, we dive into more of why the coaching hires of Kevin Steele for DC and Tommy Rees for OC works for Coach Saban. We'll get into that after this.
Look at all these great players in Touchdown Alabama magazine. Man, wait till I turn up this year. I'm gonna be on the front cover. But what if Will goes off? Or Joe, DeMarco, Chris, Tim, Christian.
Don't wait. Order now at touchdownalabama.com or call 833-483-2624 today.
Christian or Jameer.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, here we go. Back into the action from the break. Hottest show on the streets. Repping your Alabama football content in my own words. Yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Got the man John Ivory here in the production studio. Continue tapping the like button, giving us that thumbs up here, showing us that support, making this your show, your network platform channel space to talk Bama football. But now here, John, we tie up the loose ends by continuing the thought process of why the two moves Coach Saban made at both coordinator spots, Kevin Steele and Tommy Rees, this works here for Coach Saban, and this works here for Alabama football. And to me, the more you dive into it, the more you dissect it, the more you start to understand Bama can win national championships or a national championship this upcoming season with both of these two individuals. And former players are starting to really like both hires. When you look at Tommy Rees, you have guys like you have former Bama quarterback Greg McElroy saying, hey, this takes you back to 2015 Alabama when you had the power run game of Derrick Henry and the play action pass game of Jacob Coker to Calvin Ridley, Jacob Coker to Ardarius Stewart, Jacob Coker to O.J. Howard. And defensively, you got so many players excited about having Kevin Steele back in Tuscaloosa. Whether it's Reggie Ragland, who said, hey, Kevin Steele was a guy that believed in me when nobody else did. Reggie Ragland also said, I'm telling you, Kevin Steele bringing back that standard. You got Marquise Mays, who said Kevin Steele brought that tough stuff out of me. He don't got no buddies around here. He a real deal coach. You got Clinton Dix saying, for real, this guy is the real deal. Happy to have him back in here. You have Ryan Anderson saying, this guy's the target, this guy's the guy. Happy to have Steele back in here. You've got Christian Miller saying he's an old style, old school, hard-nosed, simple, beat the man in front of you. He's going to have you playing fast, physical, nasty, aggressive. You got this type of guy back in here. So you already got former Bama players that have won championships under Nick Saban. They're already feeling the hires of Kevin Steele, and they're feeling the hire here of Tommy Rees. And we're going to start this thing off here with Kevin Steele personally. So with Coach Steele, going back to the Bama standard from last night, Corey Miller and Christian Miller both talking about, hey, this is what Alabama's missing. A guy that's going to keep it simple, beat the man in front of you, play fast, play aggressive, play physical, knock the person's head off, get back to bully ball standard. And what's going to be fun here is Kevin Steele is a front seven guy. Freddie Roach is a front seven guy. The mixture of these two, what will they come up with? What will Kevin Steele and Freddie Roach come up with to have this front seven playing mean, aggressive, attacking football? Because that's what's going on over there where Georgia is concerned. They're playing mean, nasty, aggressive, attacking football. And so what will Freddie Roach and Kevin Steele come up with together to make that thing happen? Now I know a lot of you Alabama fans are asking this question. Yes, Steven, Kevin Steele, yes, toughness, tough love. We need that back in here. But will the players respect that? Especially in this NIL culture and this transfer portal culture where it's cater to me or I jump in the transfer portal. Will this generation of athlete respect what Kevin Steele's doing, having that tough love, that hard-nosed coaching mindset that he brings? I think the players will respect it just due to this. You look at all the guys that hopped in the transfer portal this offseason prior to the hire of Kevin Steele. You had a lot of guys, they pretty much already knew the writing on the wall of Saban wanting to go back to being tougher, being physical, not letting certain things slide, not letting everything just fall through the crack there. So because Saban is already wanting to go back to that mindset, the players that jumped in the portal were the ones that weren't trying to have that mindset happen anyway. So you've already done a lot of the due diligence before Kevin Steele was even hired. So I think with the players that you've recruited in this 2023 class that want to be coached hard, they want to be coached tough, they want to restore the standard back, they want guys in their face demanding the most out of them. And then the players that are returning, that are trying to be leadership guys, they want to be coached hard also because they're seeing the last 2 years what's happened when we haven't been coached hard. we haven't been held accountable, we haven't been pushed to the limit, we don't win championships. And these players want to win. So having Kevin Steele in here, I think those guys will respond the right way to him being, back here inside the program. When I look at Tommy Rees, here's where it gets fun, because now you look at, he didn't necessarily have all the talent at Notre Dame to do what he wanted to do. I know people are so keen on the analytics, and Notre Dame didn't have a top 10 offense across the board in college football. They just weren't lighting it up with quarterback play and lighting it up with receiver play and just lighting it up with the offense in general. I'll say this about Tommy Rees, okay? In his 6 years as an offensive coordinator and a quarterback's coach, with not having just a whole bunch of talent to work with, he still got the Fighting Irish to the college football playoffs 3 times in the 6 years. He still got Notre Dame to the CFP, 3 times in the 6 years? That's one heck of an accomplishment right there. You're not just going to recruit any and everybody to the Golden Dome and Touchdown Jesus in South Bend. You're not going to recruit 5 stars galore to South Bend. You kind of just have to work with what you got. And with what he had and the creativity of what he was able to do, and you were still able to get Notre Dame to the college football playoff, you're doing something. You're doing something. But what he was able to do with Brandon Wimbush, with Ian Book, Brandon Wimbush, Jack Cohn, Drew Pine, Josh Adams, Kyron Williams, Adams and Williams, both running backs there. Tight end like Chase Claypool, putting him in the NFL. Notre Dame, known for putting offensive linemen in the NFL. With what Tommy Rees was able to do, and you're still able to get to the college football playoff 3 times, 2 to 3 times in 6 years. And now you bring in this young, creative, willing to adjust on the fly mind, a guy that wants to get it right, wants to have it done right, young enough to where he can relate to players, young enough where you may have him 4 to 5 years. He may not be poached quickly away from the coaching staff. This is going to be fun right here. This is going to be very interesting right here. And I feel like, he's a guy that will have the Alabama offense rolling. He's a guy that will get the best out of everybody offensively, regardless of position. This is going to be fun to watch right here, seeing Tommy Rees and Kevin Steele on the field. And Coach Saban talked about it. He was at an event this week, I believe down there in Mobile, but he talked about it. I mean, he mentioned his process of hiring new coordinators. And he said, hey, we love continuity. We love to keep guys around for a long time, but the main thing about it, can we get guys in here with fresh ideas, fresh energy, and guys that can put our players in position to be successful and play winning football? That's the main thing. And I think Saban's got guys. He's got both guys in Kevin Steele and Tommy Rees who will bring fresh ideas, who will bring fresh energy, who will bring fresh zeal, who will bring tough love, but most importantly, put guys in positions where they can win all over the field. And that's in a nutshell, that's what you want as an Alabama fan. Having guys in position where they can win all over the field. So, John, I don't know what Alabama going to do, but they better have us on the field for spring practice. They better have the media back on the field. We need to be getting all of this. All of this newness, we need to be a part of all of this. But at the end of the day, you want the best in news, notes, information, and coverage here on your Crimson Tide football. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. Now, you download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple. Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. And for your audio needs, check us out here, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered there. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I'll try to be back on Friday, continuing the conversation that is Bama football. Remember, Tide fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Have that sent to your door. That link found in the description. If you're trying to get your hands on the fresh edition, print edition of TDA the magazine, you go to touchdownalabama.com. Click join, become a member and or a subscriber today. That link in the description as well. Got to shout out my man Alex Barth, who covers the New England Patriots for 98.5 The Sports Hub, giving us the lowdown here on the show. Got to appreciate you guys, the outstanding fans of Alabama football, all the donations, super chats, the phone calls, chatting in the chat line, you making this your show, your network platform channel, space to talk Crimson, talk football. Also got to show some love here to my man John Ivory in the production studio, holding us down right here every single week. And until next time, folks, you know what it is. Husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing to not be bored, getting that work, and also school week in session. Continue getting yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Until Friday, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.